I'm Ted Berg, and this is the Baseball Show presented by Caesars Atlantic City. Interleague play continues for the Mets with a trip to Detroit for a 3-game set. So joining us today to help us scout the Tigers is Al Beaton from BlessYouBoys.com. Al, the Tigers are in first place.
Yeah, it's taken them a while. They one of the favorites to win the division this year, and with the surprise of the Indians, it's taken them a while to get to the point where we believe they should be. But I really think the division is theirs for the taking this year. They really are the best team in the Central.
And they've got a bunch of guys tearing the cover of the ball. This team can really hit.
Yeah, the middle of the order has doing what they're supposed to do, carry the team. Vernon Bosch, Miguel Cabrera, Victor Martinez, Johnny Peralta, and Alex Avila are all in the top 20 in the AL and OPS, and top 15 in batting average. There's no question about it. They are making up for the black holes of the offense that have been Ryan Rayburn and Brandon Inge.
And you mentioned Cabrera and Martinez, and obviously those are guys with an established level of production. Are you at all worried about some of the other guys falling off a bit?
Somewhat. Johnny Peralta is having probably the second best year of his career, if not the best year of his career. But he does have a track record of power. Avila, he's catching. He's never hit the ball like this before in his life either. So when you combine those two together, the toll that the position takes and the fact that he really, I think, is playing a bit over his head, I expect somewhat of a drop-off. And Brennan Bosch, last year, as we saw, it was Jekyll and Hyde. First half, he was Babe Ruth. Second half, he was Mario Mendoza. He's become a little more disciplined this year, but there's still some question marks in regard to Bosch. Bosch's full, the talent level that Bosch brings to the game.
So one of the big names and one of the most familiar names in the Tigers lineup hasn't really been there statistically. What have you seen out of Magglio Ordonez recently?
Magglio Ordonez looked awful before he went on to designated. Pardon me, that he looked awful before he went on to DL a few weeks ago. He's been off for about a week and a half, 2 weeks. The swing looks much better. He's buggy whipping the bat again. He's just not getting very lucky right now. He's hitting the ball hard, just not finding spots. But he looks like the Magglio Ordonez of the past couple years. I really do think he's going to come around.
The trade deadline is approaching. The Tigers are in first place. Do you see them going out and making a move? And if so, where do you think they'll look to improve?
If anything, obviously they're going to look for something at second base or third base. As I mentioned earlier, Ryan Rayburn and Brandon Inge can't even keep their batting averages above 200. Brandon Inge has really started to drop off defensively, and Ryan Rayburn's just a joke. For that matter, they'll also probably be looking for bullpen arms, as pretty much every team in the major leagues will. I think they're pretty happy with the rotation and the back end of the bullpen. Right now, I think it will be a bat, though.
Let's get to that rotation, rather. Tonight's starter, Rick Porcello, a local product for us. What have you seen out of him this year?
He's been very inconsistent. The talent's there. Unfortunately, if his sinker's not working, he gets hit. You'd expect more strikeouts from a kid who throws as well, has good as stuff as he does. He just doesn't seem to get that K rate per 9. He also really depends on defense with being a sinker ball specialist. And with guys like Ryan Rayburn and Johnny Peralta, who are not exactly known as glove men, that tends to also affect his performance.
So how are teams beating him? Is it with the bad luck and ground balls, or are they sneaking long balls in there too?
They're sneaking some long balls in there. He'll look good for 3 innings, have that one bad inning, kind of like what Justin Verlander used to do, where he looked dominant for long stretches and then fall apart for an inning, and there's your game.
And another guy with a local connection, Phil Koch, of course, part of that huge Curtis Granderson deal, is going tomorrow. Doesn't have a very good record, but I imagine he's been a bit better than that.
Yeah, he has. He's been somewhat unlucky. He's pitched better than his record. He should have won at least a few more games than the one game he won back in April. For the most part, I think the Tigers are fairly happy with his performance in the fifth starter role. But there is a growing undercurrent in Detroit that they really think he is better suited as a setup man in the bullpen and try and say one of their prospects in the minor leagues like Andy Oliver or Jacob Turner in the rotation. But right now, the Tigers are going to keep him in the number 5 spot because they like what they see.
Do you think that's a move they maybe make later in the season down the stretch?
Yeah, it could very easily happen. Yes. Right now, the division is still up for grabs, and the Tigers are going to need every win they can. And if they think they have better pitchers in the minor leagues, and I think they do, than Phil Koch, they'll bring them up.
And finally, on Thursday, one of the best starters in the American League, one of the best starters anywhere, Justin Verlander. What have you seen out of him this year?
He's at another planet right now. I've never seen a Tiger in my lifetime, and I've been a fan for a very long time. I've never seen a Tigers pitcher throw as well as Verlander has for about the past 6 weeks. He's 6-0 in his last 6 starts. His ERA in those 6 starts is like .3. He's been insanely good. Right now, I'll put it this way: if you, I will not miss a Justin Verlander start because he could have no hit stuff at any time. It's must-see TV when Verlander's on the mound, and I have to, even though I'm a homer, Justin Verlander right now has the inside track for the AL Cy Young. He's been that good.
Obviously, the Mets will hope to get to the bullpen in that start. What will they see if they do? Is there any hope there?
Actually, the back end of the bullpen has been very good. Al Albuquerque has come out of nowhere and is putting up historical level stats when it comes to
one of the great names in sports.
Yeah, exactly. And he is putting up awesome stats. He has this a knee-breaking slider that people are really having trouble with right now. If there's an issue in the back end of the pen, it's been Joaquin Benoit. He's been very inconsistent after getting his huge 3-year, multi-year free agent deal from the Tigers in the offseason. But overall, if you're going to get to the Tigers, you have to get the starter out early, and the middle relief has been the weak spot.
Al, thanks so much.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Be sure to come back to MetsBlog.com and SNY.TV for full coverage of tonight's game, including recaps and post-game reaction. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.